Okay.
Yeah, I just got some text from a past client. We bought a house knowing that they're going to do a remodel, and one of my favorite things is when they send you the after picture. Great way of staying in contact. We talk about those care calls and making that, hey, how the project's coming along. Send me some pictures when you get done. Remind them of that, and this guy did a fantastic job.
Oh, great.
But I'm looking at it. I remember seeing this house, and I'm like, this is going to be a lot of work. $310,000 house up on the west side, and he's probably put 40 grand into it, and it's all just perfect.
Oh, that's great.
So
awesome.
The house was so old it had an oven. You changed the time like you would a watch.
Oh.
And turned it down.
Yeah.
Like Jason's almost settled back into where he needs to be, and he'll be back over here shortly. Yeah. I know that exit sign anyway. He's walking in the building.
I had a couple.
What do you got?
Hey, Scott.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I did a Facebook message asking my friends what their preference was for roof coating yesterday, whether it was the Elastec or Tucson rubberized coatings. And one of my former band students jumped on and said, yeah, we use Elastec all the time for our business. And I said, can you get me some cheap? And he's like, well, no, not really. And I said, okay. So then we just started talking like it became a care exchange, and then found out that he is not living with his ex-wife. Anyway, complicated situation. He said, well, maybe you can help me find a place to live. And I said, absolutely. So it was just, the most unlikely place. But I guess there never is any unlikely place. They're all possibilities. Mm-hmm. So that made me feel really good. And I also did 2 open houses, one on Saturday and one on Sunday, and had about 10 on Saturday and 9 on Sunday. Had a whole bunch of really good conversations. Most people were very kind and kept distance, and we got a couple of possible buyer leads out of that. So pretty good weekend.
Awesome.
Love it. Last week I did a Facebook post where I really just said that I got a house in contract, and I kind of shared my goal for the year, and I got a lot of reactions from it.
That was cool.
And so anytime somebody commented on my post, I responded to them, with a thank you or something else. And so having responded to almost 30 people, that's became a 2-way conversation about real estate. And that counts as my text contacts for a day for Bold Pivot. Pretty cool.
Yeah, great.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if anyone's having a hard time getting your texting contacts in, do a super engaging real estate related Facebook post, and then engage everybody in a conversation. You could even take it offline, take it to a direct message.
I was just going to touch on that. I would encourage you to take it one step further and send them a message after you say thank you. Send them a message, and then keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
if you just not to erase what he's saying, that's great. That is the first step. The next step you need to take, and make sure you do it, is keep that conversation going.
Mm-hmm. That's what I did with my former student. He responded to my Facebook post, but then I messaged him and did a direct contact, and then that's when we started our conversation about the other stuff.
Yep. Then that's a great chance to say, I would love to be able to text you my card. What's the best number for you? That way I can help if you ever need anything. And a lot of times they'll give you their phone number at that point in time, and then you can go for some more contact information if you want to.
This morning when I gave I was talking to the Uber driver, he let me know he transferred here from California last year, him and his 2 sons. And they're each wanting to look for homes. And I said, oh, well, here, because he's driving. I'm like, well, what's your phone number? And I'll text you my app, and you can share it with your sons. And I'd love to help you guys, whatever stage you are, ready now or in the future. So that's nice. So he's going to, and I said, oh, and he's originally from Rhode Island. I said, oh, and I retexted him when I got home. I said, and by the way, you can share it with everyone over the nation because it's a nationwide app. We actually have a network nationwide and worldwide. So we'd be happy to help, all your family and friends. So, but it was a great conversation.
Always talk to the Uber drivers. This little story that we were in Dallas for family reunion. Heather, myself, Jay, and Craig, just chit-chatting with the Uber driver. And Heather got their information, followed up with them, got the info to David, and David recruited 2 agents in the Dallas area from an Uber driver. So it was the Uber driver and his brother-in-law. And his brother-in-law all the time. He's actually been on some of our calls recently. It's pretty awesome stuff. Just so talk to everyone. You don't know who you're going to find.
Yep.
I think I had that Uber driver too, because I talked to an Uber driver that was interested in Keller Williams too. That's cool.
Yeah, awesome. I had another great win. It was unexpected. It was the couple that I've been trying to work with, and she was very reluctant to sign a buyer broker agreement, or it was very nonchalant about even starting to work on getting something. But then I called her and said, hey, because they were thinking about building. I'm like, meeting with the builder. Do you have any questions you would like for me to ask them on your behalf? I'm meeting them for another client of mine. And she's like, oh, well, you know what? I think we changed our mind. Can you show us this other house we've been interested in, looking at it at Zillow, and we'd like to see it today? I'm like, oh, okay. Well, after my appointment with the builder, yeah, let me get in this evening. So I took them. They loved it. But then they wanted to do major remodeling on it. So I'm like, well, yeah, I can get you all the information that you're requesting, find out everything about it. And while I'm digging in, how about if I send you some other homes similar, but with the things that you would like, that you want to add to this one, and maybe save you money and some project work. And I sent them, a few more homes over the weekend. They looked at 2 of them over 50 times in one day. So I think they're a little excited about that. So we're going to meet again. Or viewed them online, not actually been there. So.
Love it. All right. Any other wins someone wants to shout out before we jump into a couple of role plays? Let's hear it.
I got a pretty good win. I have a client that basically my daughter's daycare. There's a piece of land right next to it, and the daycare asked me, "Hey, can you find information on this who the owner is?" And I told them, "Yeah, I can find out who the owner is. If they're out of town, we could send out mailers until they respond. If they're in town, I will knock on their door and see what we can do." Turns out he's in town. I went over to his door, knocked on the door, let him know who I was, and basically told him that I have a buyer that's interested in their piece of land. They said, you know what, I was just thinking about getting it sold. So I showed comps, did everything, so I can now have a two-ended land deal.
Nice work.
Contract on Friday. So
Congrats.
thank you. The moral of the story is don't hesitate to find out stuff that's off market. Because that's where a lot of the deals are going to be made here in the near future.
Love it.
Awesome, Anthony.
All right, you guys ready for a role play? Hope, you want to be our agent this morning? Go first.
Okay.
What kind of lead do you want? You want a open house, expired, for sale by owner, sphere of influence.
Oh, surprise me. I don't know.
Surprise you?
Well, what did everybody want to work on? Yes.
Well, let's say I showed up to your open house,
Okay.
and you're calling me for a follow-up to set an appointment with me.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Ring,
Go ahead
ring.
and call. Hello?
Hey there, Jason. This is Hope Alday calling with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. Hey,
Oh, you're the girl
thanks.
from the open house.
That's right. That's right. Thanks for taking my call. Say, I was just heading out here, packing up the open house. I wanted to tell you, I sure appreciate you coming by and checking it out. And thanks so much for good feedback there.
Sure.
Yeah. So, hey, I did see on your feedback form that you're interested in buying within the next 3 months. So we need to, are you available Tuesday at noon or Wednesday at 5?
Oh, I'm not so sure I'm ready to meet. Like I said, I am 3 months out.
I see. Well, as you know, things can happen quickly. I just figured the sooner we meet, the sooner I can find out kind of what interests you in a home. I know you liked this one because of the amenities, the 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So what's important about that to you?
Good job. Honestly, I'm not so sure I'd qualify.
Oh, is that right? Well, good news for you. I have 3 preferred lenders here in town who I can connect you with today. So it's
Okay.
great locally. And as you know, interest rates are lows, 60-year lows. So are you okay if I send you some information?
Sure, you can send me information.
Very good. Sounds good. Well, first step, but I know you mentioned when you're, with that new little baby you have coming, that's going to be important to get settled in. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Right. Well, as we discussed, apartment life really cutting. Your neighbors are having late night parties and the wife's not sleeping. That can't be good for you.
That's true.
Right. Okay. Well, listen, the first step, sure, visiting with the lender is very important. But as you know, I got along really well with you and your wife, so love to meet you this week. Is it okay if you visit with her on a time that may be better and we can just home across?
I'm sorry, I hope you cut out a little bit. What was the last question you asked?
Yeah, I just wondering when you want to visit with your wife and come up with a day that would be good for you.
Yeah, I will talk to her today when she gets home from work.
Very good. All right, I look forward to hearing back from you. When we hang up here, I'm going to be sure to send you over my contact information along with that of my preferred lenders, okay?
Cool.
What do you have planned for the rest of the day?
The rest of today, I am going to be doing some work.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm working today. I'm a clothing designer.
oh, that's right. Well, I know you gave up the yoga studio, so being a clothing designer is great. Well, hey,
Yeah.
I sure, and I'll look forward to visiting with you and your wife soon. Thanks again.
All
for
right.
coming.
Thanks, Hope. Bye.
Oh my gosh, it's early. Go ahead.
Reminds you of the old days.
Sure.
Good job.
All right, who has feedback for Hope?
Remember, it's early. Be nice.
The call felt rushed.
You're right. It did. It did.
But what would happen if, when he said he's not sure if he'd qualify, if he said, well, how do you know? What makes you say that?
Right.
In other words, digging deeper on that point, which maybe would give him a little bit more motivation to give your lender a call.
Right. Yep.
That makes sense? Jason?
I agree. I think towards the beginning of the call, I think Hope hasn't had her coffee or something. She was doing a lot of telling, and then she switched over to doing some more asking, and that's when she got really good. But at first, I think you're right. She was doing a lot of telling, and that's a great ask. What makes you say that? Is a great is a good thing. So one of the good things that I saw is that she isolated my objection towards the beginning. When I had said, you know, I wasn't so sure I wanted to meet, and then she dug in, you know, why is that? And then I told her, you know, that it was because I didn't think I'd qualify. So actually, she didn't really isolate it, but she did ask me. Isolating it would have been something like, okay, great. Other than being concerned about being able to qualify, is there anything else that would prevent you from wanting to meet with me? That would be a way to isolate it. But you did ask, and you found out why. You used some tie downs. That was really good. You said something, and then you said, wouldn't you agree? And of course, I said yes. So I love the tie downs. I love it that you brought me back to my why, because we can't motivate people, but we can motivate them by tying them to their why. So when you reminded me about things like, you know, my family and what it would mean for my family if I were to buy a house, I thought that was great. And then at the end, whenever you told me to call you back, once I talked to my wife, it would probably be more powerful to say, great, I'll call you tomorrow to follow up with you. Like, put it in your court, because you know how people are, that they're probably not going to call you back. But overall, really good.
Thank you.
Welcome. Hey, thanks for doing that, Hope.
And true, I haven't had my coffee, so thank you. Okay.
All right, who's going to be the next agent?
Can I mention something really quickly? I haven't tried it, but I think his name is Denny. It's Kristen Cole's husband. You guys have seen him. You know, he shared with us not too long ago. And he mentioned he has all this imagery, you know, that he uses. So I think he was the one that used the fish deeper down where all the fish are fishing and pricing your home there rather than at the top where there's only a couple fish. That was one good analogy or metaphor or whatever the heck you call it. The other one was running the bases, and he talked about how getting a lender was like your first base, or actually getting a good agent was your first base, finding a really great lender is your second, and the third is finding a great home to make an offer on, something like that. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of powerful and simple, and it might help people also to talk through the stages. So just wanted to share that.
I think that's great. You know, there's some scripting that I have around that. I'll say, great, so whenever you purchase your home, will you be paying cash, or would it be helpful for me to connect you with one of my preferred lenders? And then, like, of course, they say, well, I guess I'll take the lender.
Yeah, I moved the sequence in the buyer's guide over in the Kelly guides for a Keller app and also our agent site. They had start looking for homes first. I put find a lender first. I just kind of moved the lender. We need to get them pre-qualified before we can actually take them out to look at homes. So that was something I put on.
Absolutely. All right. Someone else volunteer. I'm going to pick somebody. Charity, do you want to be the agent?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
You're good with
Sure.
that? What kind of lead do you want? Open house, FSBO, canceled, expired, SOI?
There's a guy I've been trying to get to list his house for a while now. And was talking with Dan about this, but he's a very passive personality, so he'll answer the phone. He doesn't have email, but he'll sit down with me. He always wants to sit down and talk and see what the market's doing. But he's always got an objection, like he won't go above 5%. That's too much commission. And he's very passive, so, oh, not right now. Not right now. So he's not in a hurry.
Who wants to be the lead?
I would do it, but she said it was a guy, so maybe a guy would be useful.
Greg,
It's okay.
Greg can do it. Come on, Greg.
Greg, be super agreeable, very social old man. Think of Mr. Burns mixed with Homer Simpson. Also known as Ned blenders. Ring, ring.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Oh, hold on. How are you today? Hey, I'm gonna call. You gotta. Okay. How was your fine evening? Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, Mr. Ramirez. How are you doing today?
I'm good this morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. So with everything opening up now, are you taking new clients? No.
No, I'm still waiting probably another week before I get out, but
All right. I wanted to see if we could meet together this week, if that's the case, and talk about listing your house for sale.
I'm still not sure, but I think we can meet sometime this week. At least sit down and talk about it.
Okay, yeah, that'd be wonderful. How does Wednesday at 2?
Yeah, Wednesday at 2. How about 2:30? 2:30 sound okay?
Okay, pause. I guess we should have started like in the listing appointment because that's always where the objections are, is once we're sitting down.
Okay, you want to do that?
Is that okay to switch it up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, well, it's great to see you here again, Dr. Ramirez. So I have the market statistics just showing, where your house would sell, and everything here prepared for you to sign so we can list your house for sale.
Okay, how much you think we could get from a house?
630,000.
30?
630,000.
Okay.
Pretty much the same as the last time we met.
Okay.
But I just wanted to go over some of the figures with you here. So if you were to sell at this price, and these were the costs, and this is my professional fee, the 6%.
Okay.
Just like we talked about last time.
Okay.
But how are you doing? Oh, go ahead.
What's the difference between the 6 and the 5 that we discussed?
Well, the 6%. It is the 6%. That's my professional fee. Just like you as a doctor, you have your professional fee.
That's right. Okay.
So that 6%, that's what that is. The marketing, photography, we do professional photos. Since you're living in the home, we give you staging advice.
Okay.
Things like that.
All right. So what's the big deal about staging? Will staging and improve selling the house, or is that something you prefer?
Well, I wouldn't have anyone come in and bring furniture in, but what we'll do after this, once we get your listing up and running, before we come in and take pictures, we'll go room by room and just, give you kind of a list of the do's and do nots. So if the couch has to be either removed or moved to a different location, I would definitely say take the elk heads and the moose heads off the walls. Your great big projector, take that down unless you want to sell it with the house.
Okay.
Things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to take my image there.
All right. Yeah, and that picture of the nice lady, that can definitely come down.
All right.
What?
Let's pause it there. We don't need to go over the details of the house and the listing stuff. We need to focus on the objection and handling. Go back to starting on your.
Can I make a suggestion? Why don't you be the client, since you know all the objections, and let someone else handle those objections?
That's what I was gonna just put it back on her, because that's what we did in our role play. Is she knows the objections? Let someone else beat her up.
Hey, cool question. Charity, do you have a script?
I do not. Dan gave me some lines to say, but I don't have anything in front of me right now.
Okay, cool. I'll help you. It's really easy. Where, when, why. So
Where,
when it
when,
comes
why?
to your when it comes to your location, what does that look like for you? And then why is that important to you? And then what would that ultimately do for you? And then when? So when it comes to a time frame for your move, what does that look like for you? Why is that important to you? What would that ultimately do for you? And then when it comes to your motivation for moving, what does that look like for you? Why is that important to you? What would that ultimately do for you? It's not your job to sell them anything. It's their job to sell you that it's a good idea for you to work together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Make them sell you by going after the motivation. And your script is where, when, why. And
Okay.
Once they prove to you that they've got a solid motivation to move, then you'll list them. If they don't have a strong motivation, they're a time waster, and you need to be lead generating, finding a motivated lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the issue, is really the motivation, because he's got the house, the great big house, but he's also got a condo that he can move into at any time. But it's trying to get to that motivation is the issue.
Mm-hmm. So take another crack at it. Dan's going to be your lead, and really focus on motivation. Remember, logic makes you think, emotions make you act. So focus on how he feels about his move. Get him excited.
Okay.
Dan's on the phone.
Okay. I'll be your lead.
All right. So
hey, thanks for coming over. I'm really excited to talk with you about these market statistics that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this is what the market's doing at this time, and it's a great time to, put your home on the market.
Don't bite. Don't bite. Don't talk to me about the market.
Okay, what was the 3 questions you gave me? Who, what, where?
Where, when, and why.
Where, when, why? All right, so last time we met, you had talked about the condo that you could move into when you list your house for sale. How's that situation? How's that situation looking?
Ask me this. So, last time we spoke, you mentioned to me that you were going to move into a condo. Could you remind me why that's important to you?
Could you remind me why that's important to you?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of friends that live in that complex, and we play golf together.
Oh, golf. That's great. That's great.
And now ask me, what would that ultimately do for me?
What would that ultimately do for you?
Well, I suppose if I was living in the same apartment complex or condo complex as my buddies, we would probably just walk to the golf course in the afternoons because it's right next door.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So when we met last time, we also spoke about, the memories you have in this home, raising your family here. But you also hesitated to list your house for sale at the time. And I understand because of the whole quarantine situation and safety. But with that changing now and everything open up, and we do have safety precautions that we take, I just wanted to see if it's time for you to put your home on the market and get someone else in the home that can make those same memories with their family. Yeah.
So you're telling right now, let's switch to asking, and let's specifically switch to asking about time frame. So ask me, when it comes to my time frame, what does that look like for me?
Yeah. So moving into your condo and selling your house, what does that look like for you?
Probably in the next maybe 3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now ask me, why is that important to me?
So why is that important to you, 3 to 6 months?
Well, I'm thinking if I were to be able to get moved in before it starts to cool off, then I would be all set for golf season next fall. I wouldn't miss any days of golf with my friends.
All right.
Now ask me, what would that ultimately do for me?
So what would that ultimately do for you?
Well, if I was able to move in before next fall, I would be able to really be on the golf course every morning with my buddies, and I wouldn't miss a single day, and I would get more more time with them, and I'd probably become a better golfer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, Dr. Ramirez, let's get you on that golf course.
Yeah, exactly. And so, is there anything that would prevent you from signing today to hire me to go to work for you to help you to sell your house? Ask me that.
So, Dr. Ramirez, is there anything that would prevent you from today, from listing your home for sale, from hiring me to sell your house so we can put you on that golf course?
Really the only thing is the commission issue. I'm hoping to only pay 5%, and I know that you're a 6%er.
I am 6%.
So now isolate again. Say, great. So is there anything other than commission that would prevent you from signing today to list with me?
Okay, great. So is there anything other than that 6% that would prevent you from hiring me today?
To list with me.
List with me.
Yeah. No, that's all.
All right,
That's
all
the
right.
only thing. So now handle that.
Well, you as a doctor, you have your professional fees that you charge to your clients, and that 6% is my professional fee.
Mm-hmm. You know what so here's an angle that you could take here. Say, great, I charge 6%. You want to pay 5%. Let's do this. I'll tell you what, I will discount for you 0.5%. We're still going to offer 3% co-op to the buyer's agent, but I will take 2.5% with the understanding that you'll also sign a buyer agreement with me today, allowing me to represent you on the purchase of your next home. Fair enough? And I bet he'd say yes. So you can discount your commission, and sometimes it makes sense. I would probably do that. I would probably discount 0.5% on the sale to get him to sign a buyer broker, and you get him to sign the listing agreement today to get things moving along. That's ultimately going to be a personal decision for each one of you, but in this situation, I would probably do that right now. So
okay,
go ahead and do that right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So what I can do for you, Dr. Ramirez, is I will go ahead and we'll offer 3% to the buyer's agent, and then when I sell your house, I'll take a 2.5%. I'm saying that wrong.
You got it. You're good.
A 2.5% commission for professional fee. But along with that, you're agreeing today that you'll be hiring me to help you with the purchase of your next home as well. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. All right. Here's the pen.
Yep. Good job.
Yay. Oh
Jerry,
my
do
goodness.
you think it all boils down to the commission, or is he also concerned about trying to move the logistics of moving out of a big house? Because I wondered if that was an objection.
Mm-hmm. And he's talked about, selling furniture. A lot of it is for me, this is kind of my personal challenge as well, because it's been 2 years that I've been meeting with him, and it never seems to go anywhere. And I'm like, is it a waste? I mean, at least I'm getting some script practice in,
Well,
but it's trying.
I've worked with an older guy too, with a big house, and just trying to offer
Mm-hmm.
lots of resources to help them get out of that house. Like Caring
Mm-hmm.
Transitions is pretty good, or one of these real, estate companies, because sometimes they just feel so overwhelmed, it's paralyzing. They're like, look at all
Yeah.
this stuff, and I don't know how to get out of here.
And I've done those before. I have an auction company, and I also have an estate sale lady. So it's things that I'm familiar with, and I could help them with. And I have brought it up before, but maybe I'll bring it up to him again and see if that's an issue.
It's just a thought.
The commission is one of his big objections, but a lot of it's just being passive and I think not wanting to move on to the next stage in life. He's a widower, so there's the memories in the house.
Right.
All right, this is good stuff, but we are over a few minutes, and I want to respect everybody's time. You know, we face a lot of challenges, face a lot of sellers and buyers that we sometimes struggle to help them to make decisions and take action. And there's really one thing that would solve every problem, and that is more leads, right? Because if we had more leads, we'd be able to kind of pick the ones we want to work with. So let's keep working on our scripts and dialogues, keep role playing, but let's go find some more leads so that we have less objections to handle, and we just have motivated people that we can help sell their houses. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome. You guys have a good rest of your day.
Thanks,
You
Jason.
too.